to do much reflecting and thinking and whatever it is. And so you need to make that time. And so to have a balance in the life that we live today is tremendous. It really is. It's every single day. It's 24/7, 7 days a week. Right? There's no off days with consciousness, with growth, with awareness. Okay, there is no that way as well. And so I don't know, what can we talk about now, folks? Now that I'm halfway through this video and I didn't even get started on what I wanted to say, but in a way, let me just read some things that I wrote. I said, one day you feel weak, the next day you feel strong. One morning you feel weak, and by the afternoon you feel strong. One day you're confused, okay, and the next day you have a lot of clarity, okay. So what's going on here, folks? You know, one day you feel so blessed, and the next day you feel cursed. You know, I mean, what's going on here? Okay, and it can be, like I say, from the morning to the afternoon. You could be. It doesn't have to be one day from the next. It can be 1 week to another week. One day you're glad to be alive, and you appreciate your existence. And for some of us, the next day you're not glad to be alive. Although for myself, I must say, there's thank the heavens that there hasn't been a day that I can think about for a long time where I'm like felt like I'm not glad to be alive. You know, that's the cherry on the top. I'm saying I don't feel that like that I'm not glad. I wouldn't say I'm not disappointed that I'm alive at all. I don't have those days, but some days I'm appreciative of I don't know, appreciation is generally there for me. See, I'm learning about myself, folks. Appreciation is generally there for me. There's many things I don't appreciate, but I know that a lot of that's man-made. You know, there's a lot of I don't appreciate capitalism. I don't appreciate how we treat one another as human beings. I don't appreciate the toxic, you know, world that we live in, and the Matrix world, and all its games and antics that it's. I don't appreciate that crap. Like, I don't appreciate the manipulation that goes, and you know what I'm talking about, okay? But sometimes, so this is touching on one day you see the universe working in your favor, right? It's all coming together. And then the next day, it's all falling apart. It's like, what the hell's going on here, man? It was all in plan, and to a certain degree, or most was, and now what's going on? It's like, you know, been thrown a curveball all of a sudden, just didn't see it coming. Okay, what else did I write here? Yeah, one day it all seems so serious. Like, you know, life just seems so serious, and the end of the world seems so serious, and many things, just life in general, seems so serious. And the next day, like, you know, you'll listen to an Alan Watts type of conversation, so it's not serious. What's to be serious about it? It's all is what it is, you know. To be serious about it doesn't. Okay, we've got to define what the word serious means. Okay, so let's move on, which I'll get into that. Sometimes it all means something, and at times, in certain moments, it feels like it means nothing, or it means very little, right? It means very little. Sometimes it's all love. It's all love, baby. It's all based in love. It's all couched and nested in love. It's all the big L. And the next day, it's like, or you see something that moves you, that hurts you, that harms you, that insults you, that offends you, that breaks your heart, and you're like, this is not love, right? This can't be love. I mean, I can walk with you through some places in this town, you know, the main CBD area where I live with, and you tell me it's all love. There's we can go into much further detail about this. Some days it all has a purpose, which is the same thing as it all means something, and some days there is no purpose. We're just wandering thoughts. I mean, you hear this in conversations and on YouTube. You depending on who you're listening to. Some people will say the purpose is that there is no purpose. Then some people say, well, there is a purpose, and ultimately it has to have a purpose, or whatever it is. But, so, and then sometimes you feel as well that, sometimes it's all perfect, sometimes it's not perfect at all. Maybe let's put it this way, not to be so black and white. I'm just going to see if I have to start and restart. Okay, maybe like some days you just feel that, you see, I don't know what goes on with our perception, but this is my experience. This is how sometimes I feel. Sometimes I feel like, really, it's perfect. Like I can see my life working out perfectly. And maybe I'm only cherry picking. Or maybe like I see the things that are perfect in my life, that are working out well, like from a bigger perspective. You see, and even in that mood, in that moment, like I'll look at the things that aren't perfect and I'll be like, my attitude will be like, oh, well, that's my challenge. That's coming to teach me something, and I'll be okay about it. But on some days where I'm saying, whereby 90% was perfect, but now it's like 10% is perfect, 90% is not perfect. Like something will rear its ugly head in my life that has never been perfect, which maybe I've forgotten about, or I haven't been paying attention to, I haven't been very conscious about. Maybe it's an unhealthy relationship that I'm in, or it's not an unhealthy relationship, but maybe it's a relationship with somebody that I'm not. I'm actually seeing that it's holding me back, all right, and that at the same time I feel like I don't have a choice, that I'm connected with this person, right, and I can't necessarily break free. Like they dependent on me, I'm dependent on them, and whatever it is. And in those days, you folks must be quite clever, so you probably understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Look, most of the time I speak to people that I feel that they don't understand what I'm saying, and I have to repeat myself and sort of dilute what I'm saying or simplify what I'm saying in such basic terms. And so I have a general concern, which I should be, that people don't understand what I'm saying. That's what I'm pretty much being conditioned to. Yeah, let me start here. One day you feel that you're important in the whole scheme of things, that you do, child of God, that you do. And the next day you feel that you're so insignificant. I mean, you hear these stories. I mean, you also, so there's a lot going on here. Some days, you'll hear, I like to talk about that how important we really are. But then you'll listen to a video where some guy's talking and he say, well, your life is insignificant. It happens, it's over in the blink of an eye. You return to ashes. Whatever you do in this life will pretty much be forgotten, which I don't even believe is true. You have so little impact on the world, which I don't think is true at all. But, you're just part of so many billions of other people that live on the planet and have lived on the planet before that. You're ephemeral, you're insignificant. And also sometimes you can have that. You can feel that you're important in God's eyes, and then all you have to do is be neglected by somebody who, that you love, and they supposedly love you, and they neglect it, or they forget about you, and you just feel absolutely rejected. And you regress, and you feel like, your heart's broken, and you feel you're not important. It's your birthday maybe, and majority of people forgot it's your birthday, and you're feeling that you're not important. Okay? That you feel like you're not important, or something happens in your life that, it didn't go the way that you planned, and you don't feel like the universe is supporting you, or, then you maybe in your mind, your thoughts will be like, well, the universe doesn't have time for me, God doesn't have time for me. What type of thing, and I was overlooked on this, I was underhanded on that. I mean, maybe you've gone for 10 job interviews and you need them badly, or maybe your health is deteriorating and it's just not changing, and and you feel, how am I important? How do I matter? Sometimes you say it's all a dream and it's all a joke. Anyways, it's the cosmic giggle. And then again, this is what I was talking about when it's serious. I mean, it's also sometimes it's just the cosmic giggle. It's God getting lost, So what's there to worry about? I mean, in Alan Watts' way, it's God playing you God playing that you're not. And when you want to wake up, you wake up. No big deal. Which I don't subscribe to that point of view whatsoever. And I think it's such a dangerous point of view. But what I'm saying is that some people, or we tend to believe that, or sometimes there are certain moments where you feel like something happens and you feel like your whole life is just a joke. It's just a joke for the, yeah. Maybe this is also patterns that I'm saying, stuff that keeps coming up on the past. I mean, I remember for myself, I really felt at a certain time, and I haven't mentioned this for a while, that I felt that my purpose was to close dripping taps. That's how low I felt of myself. Like really, my reason for existence was to close dripping taps, or taps that people didn't really close properly. So I would, whenever I'd see one, I'd go and I'd close it. I feel like, yes, I've got a purpose, I've got something, that's how low I felt of myself. So, that's my conditioning, that's my trauma, isn't it? And so that comes up for me when I'm triggered, I suppose, in the world. And so maybe all of this, of what I'm talking about, is a lot of all triggering of old wounds constantly going on, right? And traumas just being relived in a split second, in a way, maybe you had a parent who just made fun of you a lot of the time and like pulled practical jokes on you which you didn't appreciate, and everyone laughed at you, and so something like that kind of happens. I don't know, you walking in the supermarket and you trip over something or other, and you catch it, and then you feel like an idiot, and you triggered back until in subconsciously or something's going on, and you feel that everybody's looking at you and laughing at you or something or other. Yeah, folks, this is maybe a lot to do with psychological, and then we just triggered throughout the day, and it all matters, and then the next day nothing matters. One day you feel like you're really growing and maturing and developing, and the next day you don't. Again, this has got to do with value and worth, isn't it? Sometimes you feel worthy, sometimes you feel worthless. Okay, isn't that so? For myself, I'm thinking about this. You and I, folks, are having a conversation here to try and get down to the bottom of this. Not that we ever really will, or we just might, or something or other. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much the end of my list, I suppose. I've got other topics here that I want to talk about. I've written that on a receipt, a restaurant receipt. I've got a curry, and a harissa curry, which I overpaid for. Anyways, so yeah, that's, I don't know. You sometimes you hear that it's either love or fear. There's only those are the two consistencies in the world. That's the true, love or fear. So maybe it's also feeling, not love or fear, like feeling worthy and not feeling worthy, feeling special and not feeling special, feeling enough or not feeling enough. Feeling that your life has meaning, feeling like your life doesn't have meaning. Feeling that you take yourself seriously, and then feeling other people don't take you seriously. Feeling like you matter, and you don't matter. Feeling like you're part of some cosmic divine plan, in that you feel valuable. You see, I think this is quite simple now that I think about it, and then you feel valuable. When you feel valuable, and you feel purposeful, you feel that you loved unconditionally, that you feel a part of a divine plan, you feel that you have a divine purpose, you feel good about yourself because you feel that you're a good person, that you're an honorable person, that you're a person with integrity, that you're a person that people can look up to, you're a person that generally wherever you go, people that you interact with long enough, that they generally, you make a difference in their life. So it's about value, isn't it? And realizing, you see, the responsibility, I suppose, is that to know your value, you can't always know your value, because again, you're going to slip up and you're going to forget your value and whatever it is. So the thing is that it's up to you. It's up to the individual. It's up to me. Let's take the responsibility on my shoulders to know that to know when I'm feeling when my mind chatter is that I'm feeling the thoughts that I'm having and the emotions that I'm feeling are feelings of unworthiness, of how I don't want to complicate this. This is a big subject and a big story, but like I'm saying, we can really be tested and say, wow, how's that, folks? Fireworks. I mean, really, what's wrong with people? What's wrong with people? Anyways, folks, this is, so this is shocking. I mean, I hope that was fireworks. Live in the country that we live in, or I don't know. Anyways, folks, so I think you get my point, but so we'll talk about this some more, I suppose, as well. There's much more to be said, and I've really gone on for long enough, but yeah, we'll talk again soon. Take care.
Yeah, folks, who would have thought that at that late hour in the evening that people would have decided to randomly just set off fireworks, which is what it turned out to be. So I lost my train of thought and my point, and now I'm just watching this video 3 weeks later possibly, and trying to think about what I was trying to say. But I think the idea was that the importance of trying to know one's inherent value as much as possible in order that we do not slip and slide into feelings of unworthiness or bitterness or meaninglessness as well, because that's what I think it is. Like, constantly, daily, we are triggered, okay, from the outside world and also from the inner worlds of the subconscious and things like that, and we regressed and we move further into mind and further away from heart. And I think this is one of the greatest challenges of humankind in that way, is to again, be more in touch with the heart than with the mind. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre to think how much mind is going on all the time, right? And how much internal dialogue there is, or perceptions that are the subject and the theme of, how would I say it, of yourself feeling insignificant, feeling victimized, okay? That and the workings of the mind to create a narrative of where you are just a piece of shit a lot of the time, right? And that you are just bone and flesh type of thing, and there's nothing spiritual, there's nothing divine about you, right? And so it's hard to believe that the mind can, thread such a narrative, or create such a story, manifest, create, imagine up something of that nature. But it's true, and this is obviously something we don't want to think about, because we want to think that we are completely in control and of our mind, and we know what's going on, and there is no sort of other tenants in the building, in a sense. We don't want to think that. We don't want to know that we are actually in less control than we have, and that there's a script going on, and that there is such a thing as the mind and the ego. It's like we do not want to consider that as a possibility in our culture and society whatsoever, like absolutely whatsoever. We see the mind as part of ourselves, okay? We see the mind, the voice of the mind speaks in the same voice as we use to talk and to think in, right? So it sounds just like us. Like he says in Revolver, he says, you'll protect your friend with whatever it takes, and which is what you think is your friend, not even your friend, but a part of you is the mind, and it's not who you are. Majority of it is not who you are, and majority of us spend our time in mind. Okay, so ending off here, folks, that the idea is to be more in the heart, to spend more of our time coming from the space of the heart. Now, what that means is a whole another lecture or talk that I'm certainly not very well clued up on to chat about. But I don't know, perhaps in another talk we'll try and somewhat address this idea of more coming from the heart space than rather from the head space or the mind space, if you will. Okay, folks. Well, yeah, there's so much to talk about, and trying to be the observer, as well. There's lots to talk about. We'll save it for another conversation. Thanks for taking the time. We'll chat soon.